How about now? Are we finally live? I'm just not even really sure. Let me get over here and try to refresh this other screen and see what may be a happening. We're a little late. We've had quite the interesting morning around here, you guys. Yes, we truly have. And I'm not even sure if we're live now. I thought we were live 5 minutes ago, was yakking my brains off. And then I think I had the video on private and you guys couldn't even see it. I think maybe what happened. So let's just get on here and then I think and see if we got it going. Ah, yes. Okay, there we are. Now I can see your comments. We've got Michelle here. Miss Bling It On Pat. Justinian is here. We're late, you guys. Hopefully you're following on Instagram and then on the YouTube community tab, because that's where I announced to you that we were going late. We have had a crazy morning. I get out of the shower and I sat down at my desk and heard a little noise, looked out the window, and some car was broken down, or a truck right in front of our driveway. But what made it so odd is because none of our cars are home today. Baby girl's gone. The hubs is at work. So Bub and I are here without a vehicle, and our neighbors, there's no car over there today either. And so the road, you know, is very sparse, very few homes. And so here was this truck loaded with stuff all over the back. And I thought, okay, are these people snooping around, like looting from people, or what's going on? So I called the hubs real quick. Fortunately, he happened to be about 2 miles away from the house, maybe even a little bit closer than that, actually, because he was on his way home. It's lunchtime. And fortunately, he was able to pull up, talk to the people out there. Come to find out, they had broken down, out of gas, so happened to be right from our driveway. So then it took a while for them to get the gas and get gone. So it was just a little something, So it pushed us back. My apologies for being late, but hopefully you are watching over there to be able to see the announcement. I know some of you probably weren't able to stick around because I announced it yesterday and you schedule your lunches around it. And I am so sorry, but sometimes life happens beyond our control. So let's see who else popped on here. We've got Beth Allen. Hello. And let's see. Well, Jessinia, thank you for stopping in, even for just a few minutes. Oh, Miss Daisy Cutter is here. Hello, hello. Yes, you did catch me live. Wendy is here. And, oh, hearts back at you, Miss Daisy Cutter. Thank you, Michelle. I was a little nervous, I got to tell you. And come to find out, whenever the hub got here, because he always naturally runs people. I mean, that's just, you know, law enforcement way of thinking, just, you know, to make sure they weren't up to no good, because sometimes stories aren't what they seem. And before he even got out of the car, he recognized the guy. It is someone that they do have a lot of trouble with in our county. He knew him well, professionally. And yeah, so then he got very nervous that the guy was down here. Didn't want, of course, the guy to know where he lived or anything like that. So it was a pretty hairy moment there for a little bit, but we are okay and they are on their way. So that's good news. Oh, mercy. Okay, let's see. Inez is here. Hello, hello. Yeah, Michelle, you are right. This day and age, you just never know. You never know. Kathleen is here. Howdy, howdy. All right, so today I wanted to make this like a Q&A, and I'm kind of trying to pop back and forth between screens here, so you're going to see me looking away a little bit. Anything within reason that you guys want to know, this is your chance to ask away. So when you start letting those questions fly, we will start answering. Allison is here. Hello, Allison. How are you? Good to see you too. Good to see you too. Yeah, I'm just glad to be calming down. It feels like my heart is still racing a little bit. The hubs was actually on his way to bring us a new printer, you guys, because I told y'all in the hall, was it, I think it was the Five Below hall, I can't remember. One day this week I talked about my little project, working on a book. Sat down last night to start printing out some of the pages because it's easier for me to edit old school. Like I have to still be looking at paper and pen. It's just easier on my eyeballs for some reason. So anyway, needless to say, I sat down last night to print some of those pages out. And whenever I did, the printer just went kaputs on us. So had to order one of those, and the hub went and picked it up for me this morning and was bringing it out to me because that was the goal. I was trying to get some work done. We got to get Bub's schoolwork sent in today. We have a report we have to print off for that, and that's why he happened to be here. So needless to say, all of my schedule's been pushed back. And I got to make sure that at least Bub's work is done and at the post office today before 4 o'clock. So let me just sit here with you guys and just breathe for a minute. We're just hanging out and I can breathe. Ah, Kathy is here. Hello, Kathy. I'm glad you made it too. Let's see here what Michelle said. Oh my gosh, really, Michelle? So what were they doing? Just trying to take like an extension cord and plug into your power source? Is that what they were doing? People do that around here quite a bit too. I used to work at the power company and we caught them all the time trying to do that. Oh, mercy. Okay, Miss Pat, let it fly with your mold question. I'll do my best to answer it. In a nutshell, what happened? Somebody broke down in front of our home today, and they were a not really so good person. My husband knew him professionally. For those of you that aren't aware, my husband is the director of law enforcement here in our county. So he kind of knows the bad guys and the good guys. And this one was a not so nice guy. So it was a little hairy there for a moment. Kathy, that's the only way I can do it is old school. I'm telling you what, I tried it. Matter of fact, when I first started working on this book, I've been working on it for a little while. And I have so many papers. I pulled them out to show my daughter the other day, handwritten, because I can't do it on the computer. It is so hard for me to do it that way on the computer. But I thought I would give it a shot. So I did go in there and type out about the first, I don't know if I have the full 2 chapters already typed out or just the complete first one. The second one is just handwritten. Can't remember. I have to go back in there and take a look. But anyway, it is so hard, but I definitely can't proof it that way. Like trying to go in there and make corrections and then my eyeballs lose the place on the screen, and you know how it is. So it's better for me just to take I use a red pen and take that red pen, make all the corrections, and then go back in there and try to fix it that way. So I'm old school when it comes to all that, you guys. Yes, I truly am. All right, let's see here. Well, Michelle, I'm glad your son was home to be able to catch that for sure. Diane is here from Colorado. Hello, Diane. And then that is MB Gray Designs. How are you? Beth Allen, did Gunnar get upset there was somebody at the end of the driveway? You know, today he did not, because yesterday he did. We had somebody, there's a little piece of property up on the corner where they were doing some work, and it was a strange vehicle, some strange faces he'd never seen out there doing the work. And he got so upset that he took off out the yard, because we have leash laws here in our county. But if we are home with him or out in the yard with him or where we can keep an eye on him out the window, then we will let him off, because he likes to come up and lay on the front porch when we're not outside. And he's usually really good about just staying right around the front there. But yesterday, when he got sight of those people he had never seen before, he took off down there, was barking like crazy. I mean, he just went ballistic. So baby girl tried to get up there to chase him down and get his collar. She could not get close to him. He was too wild and crazy because he was agitated. Somebody was out there. So we had to bring him right back down here and get him on his lead to calm him down. And he did. He calmed right down. Once he knew he was secure over there, he calmed right down. So today, he was already on his lead. I didn't let him off this morning just because after yesterday, I thought, okay, he's going to need a day where he can be over there where, you know, he just needs a day where he can calm down after all that excitement yesterday. So he was actually on the leash this morning over there in the side yard, and he just sat up staring at attention. And he didn't take his eyes off of him, but he didn't even bark one time. So I don't know if he didn't bark because he was on the lead and he just felt secure over there, or if he knew, okay, well, I'm on this thing and I can't get loose anyway, so there's no sense in barking. I don't know. He didn't get upset, but he did keep his eye on him. So he was pretty aware. I guess maybe if they would have come into the yard, or which they actually were at the driveway, but they never like stepped into the yard. Maybe if they would have, he'd have gotten upset. Excuse me just a moment, you guys. I got a text from baby girl. Okay, just got to make sure she's okay. You know, it makes me a little nervous whenever she's off in a pretty big city by herself today. All right, so let's see. Let's catch back up here. Miss Pat had some mold in your closet and you're very allergic to mold. Yeah, most people are, but they have reactions and don't realize because you can't always see mold. So let's see. Do I have to throw away all of my clothes or what? That's a great question. The mold in your clothes can be killed in the washer and with a hot dryer. So you should be okay as far as your clothes. That's what I did with all of ours. We just took everything we had. Now, if it was stuff that had to be dry cleaned, we took it to the cleaners, of course. But I just took everything up, washed it really good, got it in that hot dryer, and you should be okay with the clothing. Now, if it's any other kind of material that you have in there, if you had even purses, I had some purses that were faux leather, like vinyl purses. You could start to see the evidence of the mold on those purses, and there's no way to get that out of there because the type of material, it almost was like the mold was growing from the inside out. I know, sounds weird, because some of the vinyl I was able to wipe it off and you could clearly see that it came off and it was okay, but then there were other bags that I couldn't keep. So things like that, or the duffel bags that I couldn't wash, you know, the ones that have the real hard, firm inserts that keep it, you know, standing up. We threw those kind of things out. It can get in your leather furniture and all that kind of stuff as well. And it's really hard to get it out. But I think on your clothes, you should be all right as long as you get it all washed and dried with heat in a dryer. You should be good to go. But I hate you've had it. That's terrible, girl. I know how that feels. Yes, it causes very big lung problems. I went last year, you guys probably will remember because I told you on some blogs, they had done some x-rays of my lungs and they could see nodules in my lungs. So it's definitely taken its toll on me. I feel a lot better now, getting a lot more healthy. Haven't been back for follow-up x-rays to know what those little nodules are doing in there. If they're getting smaller, going away, don't know. Once in a while, if I'm around other mold spores, or if I'm around like a big bonfire where there's a lot of smoke, that kind of stuff, it'll kind of get me again where I can't breathe. And I have noticed the last couple of days it's a little harder to breathe, but I think I've got a sinus thing going on. Took baby girl to the doctor yesterday. She's got a full-blown sinus infection. So we got pollen flying like crazy. 'Tis the season. So I think all of our sinuses are just kind of like messed up. And I have noticed a little bit of trouble in there, but don't play with that. Don't linger because that mold can tear your lungs up so fast, so fast. Let's see here what we got. Michelle, well, thank you very much. I hope to have it done soon. I've actually got about 4 different books floating around in my head. I already have the vision for all the covers and everything that I want to get done. And now it's just a matter of sitting down and getting it done. So that's why the videos have been a little more sporadic lately, and they'll probably continue to be somewhat sporadic till I get these projects done. But hopefully it won't take extremely long. Writing is a long process for me. I have a blog online. It's DeenaRoseMinistries.wordpress.com, I believe. There's like 700 something blogs on there. I haven't actually posted to that in probably the last 2 years. It's been a little while since I uploaded, but I would write daily devotionals that are up there. And then I also about once a week would write another type of devotional that was just a little bit longer. And I mean, just writing 1 3-paragraph little morning devotional could take me sometimes 4 hours because, first of all, I like to research everything that I'm writing to make sure that I'm correct on that. Then, of course, I like to use a lot of scripture references when I'm doing the devotionals, of course. So that takes a little while to make sure you got all that. And then it's a process of writing it, reading it, writing it, fixing it, you know, that whole editing thing. And still, I would hit publish and go back and read it and think, wow, that sentence could have actually been a lot better. So I guess because I'm so critical on myself, that process is really never done. I guess, I don't know. So not sure how long these projects will take me, but hopefully not too long. All right, let's see here. Okay, Pat still has problems with the right lung. Yeah, well, definitely don't play around with that in that mold. For sure, for sure. CM is here from Virginia. Hello. Oh, well, thank you so much. Now, let me see if I can pronounce that. That's San Juanita. Is that how you say that? From Laredo, Texas. Nice to have you. Pat, are they working on your house because of the mold, or was there you having some other kind of work done? Bye, Jessinia. Glad that I got to catch you for a few minutes. So sorry we were late. Tanya is here, or Tanya. We figured that out last week, and now I forgot. I think it was Tanya. I don't remember. Let me know. Okay, let's see what Kathleen says. Used to live to the ocean and had the black mold. Yeah, near the ocean or here where we are, where there's a lot of lakes, just in Florida in general, because we have so much moisture in there. Matter of fact, when we had our whole home tested and they came in to do their little studies, the guy that was here told us that sometimes it's hard to prove a case of infested mold in a Florida home, because what they do is they test the inside environment, compare it to the outside environment to see the differentiation in spores. But in Florida, our mold spores are so high in the outside air that sometimes it's hard for them to fully determine without boring into the walls, which we did have done. We had to eventually resort to that to prove that the mold was there. So yeah, I can imagine being out there at the ocean, all that moisture all the time can grow mold very quickly. Oh no, Tanya, okay, that's not good. That your 5-year-old has the sinusitis. That is miserable stuff. Trust me on that one. Lori is here. Hello, Lori. And then we have Sudan Napoli. Is that how we say that? That's what my daughter tells me too. She told me the other day, she says, Mom, just sit down, write it all while you're in the flow, then go back and edit. I tend to do the opposite. Like I'll maybe get like a whole paragraph or maybe even a whole page done, and then I'm wanting to go back and make my corrections right away. And then I do lose my train of thought, and that gets me frustrated. So she said, Mom, just sit down, write the whole thing while it's fresh on your brain, stay in the flow, and then go back and edit. So that's what I'm going to try to start doing. It's hard for me to do that, but I am going to try that and see if it'll help me any better. Oh, okay, just because of the mold. Well, I feel you on that one. It's a process. We're still working on ours, and we started busting the house apart New Year's Day, January the 1st, 2013. But we're doing it ourselves and have had to live in it during the process. And so the Hubs has just been doing it when he's been off or as the money would come in. You know, it's like it was at that point to where we maxed out all of our credit cards. We had borrowed everything we could borrow. We went everywhere for help. And I've told this story before on an old Cocoa and Cookie. So I'll let you guys go back and look at that if you're interested in the story instead of retelling it again. But long story short, it's been a matter of having to wait to get enough finances saved up for the next leg of the journey. You know what I mean? So fortunately, we've gotten everything out of the inside, and now it's all a matter of getting it all out from underneath the home, because we're in a mobile home. We're up off the ground, and there was mold up under there as well. So all that's got to be eradicated. And then we got to seal everything back in with flooring and that kind of stuff. So at least the dangerous part is out of the way, and you don't feel as much in a hurry to get it all completed, except for, you know, just being tired of living in a partially done house. You guys know how that goes. But the health crisis is over. Thank the good Lord, because that's been a long journey. All right, let's see here. We got Alyssa here. Hello, Alyssa and Ingrid. Nice to have you guys. Napoli. Okay, Napoli. I was a little close. $5,000 so far. Yeah, we have put in our home so far, we have put about 20,000 into it, and we still probably have about 15 to 20,000 left by the time we replace everything. Because you guys have to remember, we had to throw out mattresses. We had to throw out all of our furniture. The couch and love seat that we have right now, or actually it's just a couch and a chair, is my brother's that he has loaned us in the meantime. But we had the only piece of furniture that I kept was my dining room set. I kept the dining room set, and that's because a gracious friend of mine, I was trying to sell it because we needed the money for the house. She knew how bad I hated to see it go, because that was the table that we started our homeschooling with when Kristen was in kindergarten. Like, that was just it. So all of their homeschooling days were spent right there at that table. And it was hard for me emotionally to let that go because of that, just the sentiment there. And she knew that. And so she bought that dining room table and then gifted it back to us, which was so, I can't even explain what that meant to us. Like, that was just so generous and so gracious of her. But she told me, she said, I know you want this table and I just want you to keep it. So that's the only thing that we still have. Everything else had to go. So by the time that we replace everything, we still probably have about 15 to 20,000 left. It would be in actual work, including we got to do the flooring, the baseboards. We don't have any closet doors up anywhere yet. So we've got all the interior doors to do. Yeah, it's probably going to be about 7 to 10,000 just in the materials for what's left to do, because the hub still has to do all the insulation under the house, all the plastic barrier that has to go back up under there, just everything. Even in the midst of all this, I guess we've even probably spent over 20,000, because I forgot that part of the process of getting this, we had to get a whole new air conditioning system because all the ductwork had been contaminated. The actual unit itself had been contaminated. So we had to get an entire new air conditioning system and everything. Like, legit, this house has been rebuilt totally. So it's been a long, expensive process. So I feel for you, Miss Pat. Yes, I really do. I understand that. I will be praying with you on that, because I know that feeling. I know the feeling of frustration of not having the funds come in and not knowing how you're going to get it finished. And for us, it was even a matter of not so much for ourselves, for the hubs and I, but for our kids, because we knew what our kids were dealing with, you know? So that added an extra little stress on there. So I'll be praying with you, because I certainly know how that feels. Miss Danny Jackson is here. Hello, hello. How are you? How are you? Hope you are doing well. So anybody have any other questions for us? This is your chance for a Q&A. I hadn't done one of those in a little while. So much going on in life right now. Haven't done one of those. Yeah, Ingrid, it is quite a story for sure. Oh, it's quite a story. But it's a great testimony when we get all the way through to the other side. We've learned a lot in the process. And we kind of talked about that, I think, on a Cocoa and Cookies one day too. I think I had the kids with me on a Cocoa and Cookies where we talked about the hardship of going through what we've been through. And all of us have said that we wouldn't have had it any other way. I mean, naturally, you wish you would never have to go through something like this, because it's been tough. It's been stressful. We went without our kitchen for 16 months. And that was probably the hardest part of the whole journey. It's just, we didn't have our kitchen, period. You know, we were eating out of the microwave and trying to survive on one little bathroom with one tub, one toilet, one sink, because we had no kitchen sink. The other bathroom was demolished. It was tough, but we learned so much through the process. We really did grow closer as a family, because for a while, you guys have seen the inside of our home. Those of you that have been around the channel for a while, the whole middle part, from the kitchen, my office, all the way over to the painted wall that has all the hexagons in it, that area was completely blocked off. So we were able to have the 2 bedrooms. Bub and Kristen, we had blow-up beds in one room that they were on. They each had their own blow-up bed in there. And then the hubs and I took the smaller room. So we were all confined down there in the evening. And then during the daytime, when we were awake and trying to do school, we were all crammed down here in this part of the house, and where our bedroom is, what you see behind me. So we had some futon chairs we pulled in here. And we had the big TV and all that was in here at the time. We had racks and racks of clothes. The dining room hutch was shoved behind me here. Trying to remember what we had done with the table during that time, the dining room table. You know, I'm trying to remember back. The china cabinet sat right here behind me where my vanity is right now. That's where we had the china cabinet set for a while. We had all the cabinets from the kitchen were in our bathroom and in our big closet. You guys have seen the big closet. So all of that was shoved full of all the cabinets from the kitchen. We did leave the washer and dryer still out in that area hooked up. We just covered it with plastic while we were doing the majority of the work. So I was able to continue washing clothes here, but all the walls were open because we didn't have any of the walls back up yet. So that was a little strange. The stove we had back here as well. And I'm trying to remember what we did with that table, you guys. Oh, I know what we did with it. No, wait a minute, because that was when the office was there. For a little while after we got my office put back together, we had moved the table in there. That's what I was using for a desk. I don't remember what we did with it for a little while there. Anyway, needless to say, everything was just smushed in. So the kids and I would sit back here in this room, which was the living room at the time, and we would just, you know, it was so close quarters, and we would just talk. We spent so much time talking, and that's when we grew the closest, you know, during all that time. They grew closer to each other during that time, and we wouldn't trade that part of it for anything. We learned how to be a lot more compassionate to people who are going through a hard time, because we knew how bad we wanted help, how bad we needed help, and how that the only one here to help us was my parents. And my little brother was able to come a day to help with some of the windows. There was a gentleman that Steve works with. One guy from his job was able to come and help with some of the windows as well. And that was it. We had a lot of people offer, but didn't follow through, if that makes sense. So understanding that in the midst of a crisis, or even in the financial end, you know, whenever there were times that we would have a few people that they knew our need, and we had received some gifts in the mail from people who didn't live near us. Matter of fact, a few of them I had only met online in a ministers group that I'm in. They were fellow ministers across the country. A few of them had sent some monetary help our way, and just like we would just cry when it came in, because it was totally unexpected from people we really didn't know very well that felt such compassion for us, and it really moved us. You know what I mean? And it just taught us how that, you know, people, we've always been the type of people, we've had outreach ministries and always tried to do our best with helping people with bills and light payments and rent payments and that kind of stuff. But this even took us to a new level with that. It took us to a deeper level of compassion, that when people are down and out, they need your help. They need your emotional support. They need you to understand. They just need you to let them complain and cry a little bit if that's what they need. They need your physical help if you're able, and they sometimes need your monetary help. So it taught us a lot as far as loving people in their crisis as well. So it wasn't wasted. You know, we talk about it all the time. It has not been a wasted time. We've learned a lot. And I don't know that those are lessons we could have learned any other way. I think we all have, and for us, we had a level of compassion before that, but learning, wow, we didn't really know what compassion was until we needed it. You know what I mean? So sometimes God doesn't block all the bad things from happening in our lives for a reason, because there's lessons that we have to learn, and it's the only way we can learn them. So you have to stay positive. You have to learn what he's wanting you to learn. And when you get through to the other side, you're a much better person if you have learned well. So that's what we take away from that. Yeah, but it's been a journey. So let's see here where I left off. Beth is asking, what is the book going to be about? Good question. I've got one that I'm going to be working on that's all about how we take care of our bodies and the responsibility we have to be good stewards there. I've got one that I'm going to be working on all about becoming childlike, not childish, but childlike, and what that looks like, and the process and the journey of that. The big major one that I'm working on right now is all about tolerance. And then I do have a fourth one that's kind of being birthed out of all of that. A devotional, a daily devotional, which is how the WordPress started, because those were devotionals that I was working on a long time ago. And before I got them all put into a book, I started putting them out through WordPress. But I do have some other poems already done, and just little small, you know, kind of like I call it a toilet book, one of those little books that you can take in the bathroom, have in there in a basket or on your counter for whenever you go be in there a little longer, you know, and just like a little one-page little inspirational thing. And that's one that I'm really excited about. I was reading the kids some of the poems the other day, and they just were getting a kick out of them, especially baby girl. She just thought it was hilarious. So anyway, those are what I'm working on, and hopefully I can get those done pretty soon. Yeah, so good question. Good question. All right, let's see what else we got here. Elizabeth is here. Hello, Elizabeth. Oh, well, thank you. And I'm glad you're here live as well. Our crazy life is here. Hello. Okay, so your name is Jennifer. I'm going to try to remember that. Sometimes I forget, but okay, so you were here back when the channel only had about 200 subs, but then you quit watching for a while. Can I ask maybe what happened that made you quit watching for a while, and what brought you back? Because yeah, we have definitely grown way a lot since then. Back at 250 subscribers, that would have been probably about 3 years ago, maybe. So just curious why you quit watching and what brought you back. Glad to have you back. Thank you for the compliment. Yes, I have lost about 42 pounds so far. Oh, okay. So you're starting a vlog channel, so that's kind of brought you back around. Gotcha. Laura is here. Hello, Laura. Okay, Beth has to go. You have a great afternoon too. Glad we were able to catch you for a little bit. Good luck with that appointment. Okay, was it Dondra? I think I remembered. I wasn't sure if I would. There was a couple of you guys had told me your real names last week, and the other one I think I've already forgotten, but I think yours was Dondra, right? Am I right? Oh yeah, well, you said it right there. Hey girl, Dondra here. All right. I didn't even read the whole thing. I just saw your username popped up and was so happy I actually remembered that I didn't read the sentence. That's okay. I was late too. We had a rough morning around here. So I didn't even pop on until about 12. Well, I popped on about 12:25-ish, a little before that, but I had the thing private. So here I was talking to myself, couldn't see anybody coming online, and finally figured out I've got it private. So I had to stop it, start again. It's been that kind of week, I have to be honest. The whole week has just been crazy. But anyway, glad you are here now for sure. All right, let's see what we got going on over here. I'm glad I figured out this Google Hangout, because it is so much easier than the way we were doing it before. Last week, though, after we stopped the broadcast, I did another update on my phone, which I thought I had already done. So I'm not sure. That may have fixed the bug with that. We could have even done it by the phone again, because on the phone, there's a way that I can like block rude comments or ban users, different stuff like that. And I can't figure out how to do that on this. So if you guys see comments that happen to pop up over there that are rude, that does happen sometimes. I don't think that I can block them on this. Not really sure. Have to try to play around that and figure it out. All right, let's see. Oh, okay, so you stopped watching when the hubs got his promotion. Oh, I gotcha. Okay. So that was you haven't watched then in over a year, huh? He got his promotion in January of 2017. No, wait a minute. Is this just 1 year? Yeah, this January was 1 year. So a little over a year ago, he got that promotion. Yes, Laura, if you saw the Dollar Tree haul this week, I got one. We showed that this week in the Dollar Tree haul for sure. Oh, okay. So you had to go back to work full time. I got you on that. Yes, looking at the possibility of having to do that myself for sure. Yeah, Laura, the Bubster went and did the Dollar Tree haul this time and he bought me one. So if you haven't seen that video yet, you might want to. He's in it and he's such a cutie. He's such a cutie and a very good sport, but he did pick me up one of those. So I haven't tried it yet because I haven't had a chance yet this week, but I will do that and give you guys a review because I know there were some that commented they wanted to know if I was going to like it or not. So I will let you know that for sure. I don't even know what's happening here, you guys. Forgive me for clearing my throat so much. I got some frogs going on this morning, it sounds like. Yep, he got a new office when he got that promotion, moved to a different location and got a different office. So, and he enjoys it. He really does. We got that office just about all the way set up. Still a few things here and there because you're always, I don't know that you're really ever quite fully finished, are you? I just don't think so when it comes to setting things up, but for the most part, he's mostly done, but he's really enjoying it and really enjoying that new position for sure. All right, let's see if we got this. There is a lag in here. So if it seems like I'm delaying and answering some of your questions, it's one thing that I have noticed when you go live, like I can say something and on the screen that I'm watching for what you guys are seeing, it's behind probably a good 20 seconds or more. So that's kind of interesting. I got to get used to that. How is Gunner? Oh, Fiesta says hello. Meow. Gunner is doing well. He had a little bit of a traumatic day yesterday. Don't know if you heard me say that earlier or if you just got here, but had a little bit of a traumatic. And matter of fact, it was 2 days in a row because the night before, we had let him off of the lead and he was up on the porch and he was just snuggling. We've got a little blanket out there for him and we go sit with him out there, you know, in the evenings and just have a good time with him. Bub loves to snuggle up with him when it's late like that. They're both just lay there and he was just enjoying the evening air. And then all of a sudden he shot up and darted out towards the road. And we thought, my goodness, what in the world's going on? So we got out there and some lady had been riding her bike. It was late though. It probably was about, might have even been close to about 2 o'clock in the morning. It was pretty late. And she tried to tell Bub that the chain broke off of her bike. However, the next day, the Hubs found some mail from our neighbor's mailbox open out in the yard, like taken apart. And so we're thinking that what happened was she must have been down prowling around and was in that mailbox and it alerted Gunner. He took off after her and we're thinking she fell off of the bike. I don't think it was a chain issue at all because when Bub finally got out there where she was on the ground hunched over. So that's what we're thinking. Gunner must have really scared her off. So he stood up there just barking like crazy. He was so because the girl she was wearing all dark. And she kind of had like a hoodie up, I think Bub said, if I remember right. She had the hoodie up and just, it looked scary, you know. And so Gunner got so worked up over that, Bub couldn't even get him back. We even got I came back home, I got some peanut butter ready for him and came up there, gave it to Bub so that Bub could try to lure him back with the peanut butter. He wouldn't even come back with that. Like he was so agitated at this girl. So then this morning he had the incident with the car that broke down in front of the house. Yesterday it was the guys who were down at the corner here doing the work on the property. Then today we had the guys that broke down in front of the house. So today he didn't get worked up, like I said, because he was on that lead. But after a few days there of all that craziness, yeah, we figured he probably just needs a day to chill out. He bit Bub yesterday on the arm, pretty severe, pretty bad, way up near his bicep here. If Bub hadn't had on a big, thick sweatshirt, it already punched holes in his arm. But had he not had that sweatshirt on, it might have actually penetrated his muscle. So he was just playing. They were playing tug of war, and Gunner loves tug of war, but he got a little agitated one time when he couldn't get the rope. He was jumping up to get the rope. And the next time he jumped, he just went right at Bub's arm instead of that rope. So they made up after, you know. I don't think he was meaning to be aggressive, like mean. It just happened, which kind of was a shock there, but he's doing good other than that. All right, let's see here. Rosalind is here. Hello. Oh, your kids are keeping you busy, huh? Kids will definitely do that for sure. Is it inappropriate to ask what denomination your church is, that you're a youth pastor? Just curious. Oh, no, I don't mind at all you asking that. I am an ordained minister with the Assemblies of God. So that is what our church is. No, I don't mind answering those questions at all. Yes. Yeah. We definitely feel very safe, Laura, with him around. That let us know he is watching out. And so that was good, because if he hadn't, we can't prove that that lady is the one that was in the mailbox, but somebody was in the mailbox and actually opened that mail. So, and the way that it was just kind of tousled, because not all of the mail was out of the mailbox yet. So I think it scared her. We're thinking it was her. And I think it did scare her and caused her to run off. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It almost makes you wonder how much stuff might have happened before you had the dog. You know what I mean? Because he alerts us whenever there's noise close by. He definitely lets us know that there's people or there's a vehicle or anything like that. So it's been nice having him around for that. Frustrating yesterday, though, when he wouldn't listen, because you know, I know they have to learn. He's been here long enough with us and we've been working with him enough. You would think that he would know that if we step outside and say, Gunner, it's okay, come down, come here, buddy, that he would come right back to you, realizing, okay, the situation's under control. But he hasn't learned that yet. So we had a hard time 2 days in a row now getting him back down here from just at the edge here. He wasn't actually in the hard road because we live on a dirt road. He was just up to the edge of it there, and only because the people were there. So he wasn't in danger that way, but he just wouldn't listen. And I know around here, you guys have seen, if you're following over on the health channel, then Bub and I took you last week, I guess it was, we took you on our walk with us, 3-mile walk. And we showed you some of the pretty lakes. We walked by 5 lakes as we walk. And we showed you some of the area. The beautiful azaleas are all in bloom, and the jasmine, the wisteria. It's really a pretty, pretty area. Well, as we're walking, there are lots and lots of dogs, and some of them will come out of the yard and chase us. We've only had one that wouldn't listen to his owner, but his owner was able to get to him and pick him up and calm him down. The other ones, when they come out after us, you know, their owner will say like, no, 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 it's okay, come back. And the dogs will go right back. Like, they listen so easily. So far, Gunner is not doing that. So he was truly agitated. So we know it's just going to be a process of teaching him, you know, and hanging in there with him until he learns that. But anyway, he's had some excitement this week. And so have we, because it gets a little scary when you think somebody could have possibly been going through your mail. Our mail was out of the box because we had already checked it that day, that afternoon, but our neighbors had some mail in their box that had not been taken out of the mailbox yet. And so, you know what I mean? It's like, then whenever that truck came down here today and it was full of, you could tell that it was full of all kinds of scrap stuff. So either they were driving around, because today's trash day, and around here, I don't know about where you guys live, but around here on trash day, people drive by looking in the garbage cans, and it's perfectly legal for them to do because your garbage cans are set out on the right of way. They're technically not in your yard or on your property, so to speak. So it's not illegal. Although if you call the sheriff's department, they will come and they will push them on along and tell them, you know, you guys need to come on, but they can't like do anything to them really because it's not illegal. So anyway, it looked like that's what they may have been doing, was just driving around. But then after the hubs figured out who it was and knows that this person has a history of stick of fingers, we're just not so sure. So we don't know if they came down here and they just seen that the 2 houses right here, there were no vehicles home and there was more to it. We're not sure, but feels safe having a little Gunner out there to keep an eye on things because he looks vicious. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, because usually when we show him, or when we've showed a few videos of him, he's playing and he's just cute and fun, but he looks vicious because he's part shepherd and part boxer. And so he just has that stance about him, and his little ears stand up and his eyes, he has that look like he's got on the eyeliner, and the little eyes come back. And whenever he starts barking and shows those teeth, he looks ferocious. So I think he's a good deterrent. People see him barking and upset and agitated, probably think he's a pretty mean dog. So anyway, kind of nice to have him around. Yeah, Laura. Well, my husband is the police. So I don't know if you were aware of that. My husband is the director of law enforcement here in our county. So he's on it. He's on it. They mess with the wrong area when they come around here for sure. So he does not have a marked car because he's the director of law enforcement. So his car is not marked. So it's not like if they were to drive down here, they would see, oh, a cop lives there. Now, a lot of people do know that my husband is an officer just because we've lived here so long back in the day when he did still have a marked car. So they've kind of learned that. So some of them are aware that it's his house, but then there are a lot that are not aware that he lives here, that he's a police officer. So they don't know. They've been barking up the wrong tree. That's for sure. Oh, mercy. All right. Well, we got about 10 more minutes, you guys, and then I'm going to hop off here right at 1:30. I was supposed to hop off at 1 o'clock, but everything's been pushed back a little bit. But I've got to get Bub's schoolwork done. You guys, he's almost done. He's almost done. Today, I will be getting in the mail all of his work from that third 9 weeks that he had done. And then next week, we have to get in the mail all of his work from the very final 9 weeks. So you send them in stages. And so we'll get all that done. Has to be received by our homeschooling office by April 1st because he'll be graduating May 15th, I think it is. And he'll be getting that diploma and all that good stuff. So they have to have all the testing and all that into their office so they can have it all documented before graduation. But I'm excited, but I'm also very sad, because he's the baby and he's my last one. And so he'll be graduating, and then I won't have any more. Homeschooling's been my life. My kids have been my life. They've never gone to public or private school. We have homeschooled from day one, and just a lot of time that we've spent together through that educational experience. I have loved every minute of it. Would do it all over again if I had the chance to do it. So it's a bittersweet thing to think that you're done with all of that, and that you don't have any more to homeschool, but then you're proud of them on the same hand because you see how great they've turned out and what a great future they have ahead of them. So it's bittersweet. All of you with kids who've ever graduated or close to graduation, I'm sure can feel me on that one. You're proud of them, but hate to see life change at the same time. You know what I mean? So anyway. Oh, your grandpa's a retired police officer. That's cool. Very cool. 11:30. Oh, okay. So you're 2 hours behind me where you are, Tanya. All right. Well, thank you, Laura. It's been I tell you, when we first started schooling with him, Debbie is here. Hello. It was a little hairy at first with Bub because Bub is, you guys can tell from the different videos and stuff, like he loves to be on camera. He's our jokester, always making us laugh. Just funny guy, finds a joke in everything and just loves life. He's the type that if you tell him to go put something in his room when he was little, like say, pick up a baseball bat, go put it down the room in his room, he would play with it all the way down the hallway because he just has fun at everything he does. And he's the type that, because he likes to have so much fun, sitting down, having to learn didn't go over real good at first. He didn't want to just have to be stuck to the chair, learning how to read or different things like that. So the lady that works with me, she's a teacher here in Putnam County. She evaluates them at the end of every year for our school board and make sure that they're right where they need to be as far as their learning and all that. She evaluates all their work for us. And she had told me that year, she said, you know what? She said, we have some kids, even in the public school where she teaches, that They just don't like to sit still. So they had learned that if you get like those little bouncy balls that have the handle on the top, you know, or if they need to stand up at the desk to learn instead of sitting in the desk, as long as they're being quiet and not disruptive and paying attention, she said, just let him up out of the chair or let him learn in ways that you know he's still paying attention. So we did that. I quit trying to say, Bub, sit down, you know, and I would let him stand up at the table if he wanted to, or if he wanted to kind of roll the little handball on the table while we were working. And he started doing so much better at that because we could make the learning fun for him. And so then he started picking up the reading right away. But there for a little bit, it wasn't that he couldn't, he just didn't want to have to sit still. And so I told him one day, I says, Bub, you have got to learn to read, buddy. It is the most important thing you will ever do in your life is to know how to read. And, you know, so now to see where he's come and good student now. You know, his schooling's still not his favorite. He would rather be having fun playing soccer or playing his guitar, you know, and doing stuff like that. He's not like a novelist. He's not going to just sit down and read a novel. You know, some people just aren't readers, and that's okay. To see where he's come from those early days where he didn't want to have to sit there and learn. And it's just, it's so rewarding because you got to be a part of all that, you know? So bittersweet for sure. Definitely. Debbie, I don't know why it didn't give you a notification I was live. I don't know. This is only the second time that I've ever done it through Google Hangouts. So maybe the Hangouts doesn't have the same type of live notification that the app does. I'm not real sure on that. I'll have to do some checking to see. Yeah, Allison, I can totally understand that. When baby girl graduated a couple years ago, of course, you feel like it's your day too. And, you know, you're just so proud of them and know you helped them get where they are. And I was so happy for her and so proud of what she accomplished and then so sad at the same time. It's like I didn't know, okay, are these happy tears, sad tears, both tears? You know, your emotions were just like all over the place. And I know they will be again with Bub for sure. Let's see what Rosalind says here. Yeah, I understand you, Rosalind. And even I don't have 4. I only had 2. I always wanted 4, but we ended up with only 2. And even though I don't have like a lot of them where lots of time has passed, even just the years that have passed, baby girl will be 21 this year. So almost 21 years that I've been a mom. And it's been my life for that many years of my life. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's what you know, that's what you do. It's kind of who you morph into. And as the seasons change, it's a hard adjustment. It's a hard adjustment for sure. Bye, Tanya. So glad that you had a chance to catch us and chat with us a while. Oh, you're going to get your hair done. I'll be looking on Facebook because I'll see some pretty pictures. Have a good weekend. Yes, Debbie, in the school program that we use, cursive writing was mandatory. So they definitely know how to do the cursive writing. And matter of fact, even now for graduation, for all of his papers that he's writing, it all has to be done in cursive. They can only print out their papers if it's over 500 words. But if it's less than 500 words, they still have to handwrite everything out with cursive. So it's a pretty stringent course that they've been through. We use the ABECA program. A lot of people are familiar with that. There's like 400 something countries around the world that actually use the ABECA materials. And we're registered through the ABECA Academy, and they have to do the original handwriting, and then they have to handwrite everything that they send in. So I love that because it teaches them so much more. Matter of fact, whenever you're around Bub and some of his friends, just the vast difference in what they learn, because a lot of our public schools now really gear kids towards, well, a lot of it has Common Core now, and a lot of them gear towards, at least here in Florida, and I can't speak for a lot of other places, but it gears them towards studying for, we have something called the FCAT. Not sure if that's nationwide or not, but it's kind of like they spend all their energy and time focusing towards getting these kids to pass that FCAT. And once the FCAT is done, like the rest of the year is kind of easy. And talking with some of Bub's friends, whenever they're all together and realize that, okay, you guys weren't taught that. It's like, it is so vastly different than when we were in school. It really just is. So You know, I don't, like I said, I can't speak for every state or every school or any of that kind of stuff, but I can tell that they don't have to do the handwriting anymore. Their math is completely different. You know, I mean, it's just, it's different than when we were in school, that's for sure. So, all right, let's see. Janet is here. Hello, Janet. How are you? Yeah, some kids don't adapt well to homeschool, especially if they have been either in a public or private school setting. Then to leave that and come to an environment where they're learning one-on-one doesn't always work for every child. And that is why for us, we always tell people, you've got to do what's best for your family. For your family, it may be homeschooling. For your family, it could be a public school. And for your family, it could be a private school. Whenever I was real little, I had gone to a private school for a little while, and I just was not adapting there. The teacher would have to stand me in the hallway every day crying, and just, I don't know what it was about that school. I was so young that I can remember parts of it, but I kind of more remember the stories that my mom and dad would tell. But finally, the teacher told my mom, she says, maybe you should just try her in a public school setting and just see how she adapts to that before you get too frustrated. And so they did. They took me out of the private school, put me into the public school, and I adapted right away. So, you know what I mean? You have to make the best choice for your family. It can't be based on somebody else's experience, if that makes sense. And hopefully, when we've talked about homeschooling, I have several Cocoa and Cookies. We've even had the kids talk to you about their experience with homeschooling. Hopefully we've always conveyed that. I've tried to be very careful to convey that homeschooling is not always going to be the answer for every family. And you have to know your child, you have to know yourself, because it takes a lot out of you to be able to teach your kids as well. And it's not going to be for everybody. It really isn't going to be for everybody. So never feel guilty for those decisions whenever you have really sought what's best for you, your child, your family dynamics. You know, don't feel guilty for those things, because there is no cookie cutter answer that's going to be right for every single family. You know, it's just not going to be. So, oh, good. So, okay, your kids have got their grades back up. That is awesome. Well, that's good, Rosalind, that your kid is having to learn handwriting. And I know here, a few of the teachers here have the leeway if they want to teach the handwriting. If there's time in their classes, the way they construct them, they can. It's just no longer a requirement in Florida that they have to learn that. So not every child is learning that, which is unfortunate. And it's really kind of unfortunate that county to county does different things, and really almost school to school can do different things. There are certain standards that, of course, every school in the county has to do, but then there's other leeways where it can be a little different. And so not every student is really learning the exact same things anymore. It's kind of strange getting used to all that, but all right, there is Sheena. You did make it, Sheena, but I am just about to sign off. But glad you caught us for a minute. Oh. Yeah, I understand that, Rosalind. Some of these kids, you know, will tell Boo, "Oh no, this plus this equals this," and we're like, "Really? Like, are you being serious or are you joking? Please tell me you're joking." But they are dead serious, because the way that they do Common Core math now, it is just unbelievable. You know, just listen, 2 plus 2, that's 4. But they go through this whole long roundabout way now. Yeah, I understand you on that one. Well, that is very good that she got those grades up and that she's not afraid to go back. Bullying is a very real issue. Bullying certainly is an issue, but it's in every school, it's in every work environment. It's just in our society. It's unfortunate that it is, but that's human nature. That's that old ugly human nature. And some people they're bully people, and it makes it unfortunate for the people around them. So sad. They don't have to sign their names anymore, Laura. Most things are done on computers. You just type in your name as a signature. Credit card statements, bank statements, you know, you do so much on your phones with Apple Pay or bill pay, and very little things. You don't even have to write checks out anymore to sign your name on the checks. And so there's very few need. As a matter of fact, even a lot of contracts that have come around here, you can go right online, you can read through the contract, you check mark the little box that says I accept these terms, and then you type in your name, and it'll tell you typing in your name acts as your electronic signature. So kids, they just don't have to do it anymore. That's just kind of the way our society has moved. And so yeah, it's a different age. It's a different age, that's for sure. Let's see. Sheena, can I do a live next Friday around 1:30? I'll have to look at my calendar, Sheena, but we're talking Eastern Standard Time, right? Because you're right there in Valdosta. I'll look at my calendar, and if that's going to fit within the calendar, then yes, I will certainly try to do it around 1:30. Oh, I understand that. Yeah, you sent her a card and then she couldn't even read it. Yeah, a lot of them can't anymore. A lot of them just can't. And the bad thing about that is, speaking of that, even a lot of books and stuff now, kids are doing on their phones and their tablets, you know, Kindle books and Amazon books and all that kind of stuff. Everything is so technology driven that a lot of kids, even like at church, whenever we have the kids tell them to bring their Bibles or whatever, they bring it on their phones, their phone apps, the Bible app. So it's very rare that we actually see the kids come in with a hard copy Bible. Everything just about is electronic now, unless you're like me and you're old school, because those screens hurt my eyes after a while, you guys. I cannot say, I have tried to read a few Kindle books, like thinking, okay, well, you know, I can get this downloaded on my phone. I can read this while I'm in the doctor's waiting room or something like that. And it hurts my eyes. Like, I can't look at the screen that long. I would much rather have a hard copy book. But you guys know that. I've told y'all that before, my love for books and learning and reading and all that. So I can't get used to this new technology. Oh, well, Janet, thank you so much. I'm glad that you joined us. I sure am. All right, you guys. Well, it's 1:34, so I'm about 4 minutes behind schedule here. So I'm going to have to go ahead and sign off because I got to get that work done, get his paperwork in the mail. It's getting exciting. Of course, he's excited. We ordered his cap and gown it might have been right at the end of last month. Hang on real quick. Got a text here from baby girl. Sorry about that. When they're out of town, you got to answer, right? All right. Had to put that in there real quick. But anyway, nonetheless, we ordered his cap and gown. It was either right at the end of last month, a couple weeks ago, whenever that was. Got all of that ordered. And so that was another exciting next step for him. It's getting real. Like, he can taste it. He can taste it. But he said, I don't want you to put anything on Facebook or anything until the last bit goes in the mail, Mom. Once you have a stamp on it, I'll know I'm really done. So he is counting down. He is counting down, as we all did our senior year. Can you guys remember it? We called it senioritis. We couldn't wait for it to be done. You know what I mean? So anyway, but on that note, I'm going to have to go ahead and pop off of here. Let's see real quick. Let me catch up on these last few comments. Yeah, a lot of preachers do preach from their tablets now. And it actually is really cool that you can hook your iPads up to the transparencies and the overhead projectors, and you can pop your stuff up and your graphics and all that kind of stuff behind you. But I have to admit, I'm old school. I have my hard copy Bible with me on the pulpit whenever I'm preaching. Now, not to say I wouldn't ever preach from my, sometimes in youth, I will use my phone. Sometimes in youth, because like as I'm saying a certain thing or whatever, you know, I'll have another scripture pop in my mind and I'll pull it up on my phone real quick because it's faster for me than doing it the other way. So occasionally in my youth room, I will use the Bible app on my phone, but rarely. I just prefer that hard copy Bible, but I don't know, you know, who knows? Sometimes when I have a lot of PowerPoints, if I'm ever in a situation where the hubs can't run that for me, I might would have to do that, but it's hard on my eyeballs. Let's see. Sheena. You know what, Sheena? I'm not real sure. I think they do offer some classes. I think Abeka offers some classes that you can order that helps you work towards your GED. Well, that's what they do here in Florida. I'm not sure about Georgia, but I think it's still the same thing. You have to take that GED test. And I do believe that Abeka does offer the courses that you can get and to study for that, to work towards taking that big test. That would be something great to look into. It's Abeka, ABEKA, Abeka.com. I think is it. If you just type in Abeka book, then it should bring you up there and you could kind of look around to see what all courses they have. Oh, Stephen Rose is here. He says, hey, so big question. Who's your favorite child? See, I told y'all he is the jokester of the family. Well, I'll tell you who my favorite son is. My favorite son is Boo, Bub, Bubster, Bud, Goat. Oh, you are so funny, kiddo. Thank you, Allison. You have a great day too. I will, Janet. I will make sure that I tell her next time that she texts in here that all of y'all said hi. Thank you, Kathleen. You too. You too, Sudan. I think that's how you say that. Kathy. Oh, thank you so very much, Kathy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And much love to you too, Miss Kathy. Rosalind, you saw that. He is so funny, isn't he? You too, Dondra and Laura and Janet, that's for sure. Sheena, I will try to remember. If I can remember when I get back in there to my office, I will sure try to remember to do that. Oh, that's too funny. All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and say adios. Thank you so very much for joining me today. And if you don't see me in any videos during the week, look for me next Friday and we shall meet again. You guys have a great weekend. Love you guys.